right, folks, exclusive Green White Checkered Podcast with the one, the only, Adam Riley. Adam, tire changer for Erik Jones, 43 car this season.
Yes, sir.
How's y'all season been going? What's it like on that side of the wall?
It's been going well. Still, just like with anything, you have room for improvement.
Right.
We're not where we want to be just yet, but we're making strides.
Yeah.
We're making strides, and a lot of improvement over the last few weeks. We had a really good week last week in Daytona. We topped the charts at like maybe P1, I think P1, P2 for stops.
Awesome.
So that's a step in the right direction, but so far so good, man. Can't complain.
Sweet. Yeah, awesome, man. Now I know you were tire changing with Joe Gibbs for a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of their affiliates.
Yeah.
What's the culture, environment, training, everything? How does that differ from one team to another in your experience?
So what the situation is, I'm still employed by Joe Gibbs, but
Awesome.
I'm kind of like you said, an affiliate
Right.
of Joe Gibbs with Legacy Motor Club.
Cool.
And what the two teams have done, they've made an alliance, partnered together, and they're leasing like pit crew members until Legacy kind of branches off and does their own thing, become their own team.
Awesome.
And so for the time being, Joe Gibbs is leasing pit crew athletes to go pit for the
Sweet.
two partnership cars.
Yeah.
And so I, being one of those, the training is just the same. They don't have their own pit department yet.
Okay.
So henceforth, that's why we have the leasing and like let them borrow pit crew athletes from JGR. But the training is all the same. We go in, we lift, we have meetings, we have film, we practice, do that 3 days a week. And we're off the weekend until we have to travel for race day.
Awesome, man. Cool. So I know Joe Gibbs, if you can't talk about this, you don't have to, but I know Joe Gibbs was experimenting a little bit with the different rotations for the tire changers where, instead of the rear guy sticking with the rear, it's right rear does the front left and everything.
Right.
Is that something y'all are doing with Legacy? Is that something y'all are still practicing, or have y'all kind of like phased that out a little bit, or how's that all
we've
working?
kind of transitioned from using that type of choreography.
Yeah.
It's something that we decided on the early part of the season.
Cool.
Just as fast, if not faster, doing it this way, the old current gen style. We call the other play the next gen choreography.
Yeah.
But still as fast, if not faster.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot more. It simplifies things a lot more with what we do now, as opposed to having everybody approach the car from the front.
Right.
So it's one of those where there's a contingency in place. If something goes wrong, it doesn't hold up everybody.
Right.
But no, it's still a fast stop nonetheless. We just transitioned from using that to the old style stop that we do now.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know you are an athlete through and through. You played ball in college, correct?
Yep.
Okay, at UNCC?
The Wingate University.
The Wingate, that's right.
One dog,
Way
baby.
better.
One dog.
Way better. Obviously, there's a lot of debate about, are NASCAR drivers athletes? Are there any athletes in the sport and everything? We're obviously in the camp that drivers, the pit crew, everyone behind the wall are full-blown athletes.
Right.
How have you seen, maybe the training being the same, or has it equate, I guess, to playing, college ball or stick and ball kind of sports growing up to being, a pit crew member for a NASCAR team?
So surprisingly, the training regiments are, I'd say they differ in the fact that not everybody does the same movements. Kind of like with a football team or a basketball team, everybody squats, benches, all on the same day, all with the same amount of reps and everything. But because there are so many different positions on a car, on a pit crew, there are different workouts that are catered to specific movements that each position has to do.
Awesome.
So a lot of my workout is more Excel, decel, a lot of plyometrics, some weightlifting, just to keep that injury prevention aspect of it. But as far as different positions, your carriers, your jackmen, they're more strength and power based.
Yeah.
So you do a lot more squats, a lot more power cleans, a lot more Olympic lifts.
Right.
So anybody that's not a changer is more so of that kind of caliber of a workout plan.
Yeah.
But so the movements differ, the workout regimens, they differ based on your position on the car.
Awesome, cool, man. So obviously, I know we talk. You have your own podcast going, Playing for More, correct? Tell us a little bit about that. How's what kind of stuff do you cover on that podcast? Give a little plug for that.
Right. So Playing for More is on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. So it's hosted by me and Banks Wise. Shout out to Banks.
King Banks.
Newlywed Delaney Wise. Shout out to the Wise family. And so it was just kind of this thing where me and Banks, we kept in touch even after graduating from college. And it was one of those days where we were just like, you know what? We should talk about some of this stuff. And kind of our normal everyday conversation just spilled over into a podcast.
Yeah.
And so that was a blessing in disguise. The name came just being an athlete, wanting to play for the win, trying to be the best of the best, outwork the hardest working person on your team in the sport, whatever the case is. But being being in an atmosphere where you're striving to be number one. Like, what is the true goal? Like, what is the win?
Right.
You know, and I've come to realize that losing is the win.
Yeah.
You know, giving yourself away, giving yourself and dying daily, dying to what you want to do for you, and always looking out for number one, and you know, all that comes with just living life.
Yeah.
And so we kind of flip the wording of the phrase on that, playing for more than myself.
Yeah.
And that more than myself is the power that comes up outside of us in Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
So we talk about sports, we talk about what the word says about just everyday things that we may have talked about offline, and we felt like it would be a good topic for a podcast, and maybe something that our listeners out there will want to hear, or even just to share some encouragement and words of wisdom, basically.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, cool. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know obviously got a busy day ahead of you, so we're pulling for you. Best of luck to you. We'll let you get back to it, but thanks so much for your time. Really do appreciate it, man.
Thank you, awesome. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,